talk menstrual cycle. This is a very complex subject matter, but it is an area that most females don't really have any understanding of, but yet it's such a crucial part of being a female. So I want to dig a little deeper into it and give you a better insight into learning how to understand your body and how to manipulate things potentially, so that you don't need to, that you know not to allow your menstrual cycle to affect your mood whenever maybe you don't have such a good day in the gym or your cravings are up the left. If you know how to work around these things, then you can get results a lot quicker and your mood is a lot more balanced. So typically a female cycle is roughly in around 28 days. Bearing in mind there is no normal and everybody is going to be different, but typically if your cycle runs over these 28 days, you could be potentially in the position where you have a female athlete triad or coming towards PCOS symptoms. Now, typically this 28 days is split into two different phases. The first 14 days is called your follicular phase, and the last 14 days is called your luteal phase. Week 1 of your period is whenever your period arrives. That's day 1. Typically, your period will last anywhere between 5 and 6 days. Again, this is individual dependent and will be different for different people. Then as you enter halfway point, this is when ovulation happens, typically in around day 14 of your cycle, and within this period your testosterone is a wee bit higher, so you can expect PPs within the gym, and your sex drive is also at an increased level. Once you enter the luteal phase, i.e. the second 14 days of your cycle, hormones kind of go a wee bit all over the place, where your estrogen is dropping and then peaking, and your progesterone is again doing something similar. During the last 7 days of your cycle, i.e. week 4, this is typically PMS week, so your cravings are all over the place, you maybe have cramps, you bloat, you get headaches. Everybody has different symptoms, but this is typically how your 4-week period will travel. So then let's break that down into follicular phase and luteal phase. Follicular phase is what I'm going to focus on first, and that's the first 14 days of your cycle. Week 1 of your period is whenever you typically perform the best in the gym, because your blood sugar levels are a wee bit lower, so you feel more control of your appetite, and you feel leanest because you've got less water retention. So if you're taking part in any training programs, week 1 and week 3 of your cycle are typically the best week to weigh yourself and take pictures, because you'll feel the best about yourself. So again, it's important not to compare week 1 and week 2 of what the scale weight says and what your picture says, because water retention goes up on week 2 of your cycle. So it's important to bear that in mind, that you don't need to compare on a week-to-week basis, otherwise you will kind of wreck your head slightly, because you'll be not understanding how you're going wrong if you're training well and eating well. During week 1 and 2 of your menstrual cycle, your metabolic rate is typically balanced as well, so you don't have as many cravings for calorific foods or sugary based foods. So typically during this time, it is the best time to go aggressive with any diet approach that you have. Then whenever you move into the luteal phase, you will typically allow your body to have a lot more carbohydrates and a lot more calories to accommodate for increasing cravings and binge tendencies. Now, once you're coming up to ovulation, i.e. in around your 14-day period, then you will potentially reduce your hunger levels as well. So again, this is a nice time to be really aggressive with your diet, to maximize what you can do over the period of a month, and to balance out your PMS week in week 4 of your cycle. So hopefully that makes sense. After ovulation then, i.e. in week 3, this is typically whenever you begin to feel like you have a lot more cravings, and you just feel a wee bit more lethargic potentially, or you feel the effects of your upcoming next period. So it's important to realise that during this time, even though you might have increased cravings, your metabolic rate is increased. Anywhere from between 100 to 300 extra calories can be burnt during this phase. So that can be the equivalent of, say, a couple of pieces of fruit a day. But you need to also try to maximize that increased caloric burn, caloric burn by not doing too much damage because you've got cravings and allowing yourself to give in to that need. So I need you to have a real broad perspective on what your overall goal is, to have an understanding that you will require some more calories and some more carbohydrates during this period to allow your blood sugar levels to stabilize, because at this stage of your period your hormonal levels are going all over the place, i.e. your estrogen is rising and then dropping, and your progesterone is more or less doing the opposite to what your estrogen is doing. So I need you to have this awareness that you can accommodate for increased calories, you can accommodate for an increased caloric burn by having a wee bit more knowledge of the situation. So now I want to talk about the luteal phase of your menstrual cycle. And typically this is the phase that females allow themselves to undo all the good work of the previous 14 days, because cravings are highest and you feel like you deserve more treats and deserve more chocolate. But I want to inform you that there's ways and means to control or minimize these cravings in order to allow yourself to progress on a month-to-month basis. So during the luteal phase, we have an increased metabolic rate, which means that we can potentially burn anywhere between 100 and 300 extra calories on a daily basis. Now, that balances out whenever we have increased cravings. So typically during this time with my clients, I allow them to move their calories closer to maintenance, i.e. come out of a diet phase, and allow themselves a few more carbohydrates on a daily basis in order to minimize those cravings and to help balance out the blood sugar levels. It's important to understand that this is not failing in your diet, that if we take a 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off approach, or anywhere in between that kind of works with you, your needs, your lifestyles and your goals, then this can over the longer term help you gain more confidence and understand your body and accelerate your fat loss results. So now let's talk about PMS week, and this week can be very challenging for a lot of females. So again, with a wee bit of knowledge and understanding as to how best to respond personally, then you might be able to accelerate your results because you have a better understanding, you're prepared for this week. So what I typically get my clients to do is I get them to journal about their menstrual cycle. So week 1, week 2, week 3, and have an understanding as to how their body responds during these different phases, so that whenever they are building up to PMS week, 1, they're aware of it, so they know that they can allow themselves to up their calories towards maintenance, and they know that they have an increased carbohydrate allowance. That can be a big relief off female shoulders, and once you know that, then it takes away the stress of I'm failing at my diet and I'm just not cut out to get any results. So that's an important factor to think about whenever you're entering your PMS week. Now, what actually happens to your PMS week? Your hormones are going to be all over the place during this week, but again, it's something that you can learn to understand and control a wee bit more. So typically some people might have headaches, some people might cramp, some people might bloat, stress levels will be up through the roof, sleep patterns might be skewed a wee bit as well, and you mightn't really want to eat that well or train that well during this period. So again, awareness, understanding and pre-planning will help limit some form of damage during this period so that you can get results on a month-to-month basis. So during the PMS phase of your cycle, training can feel typically a lot more challenging, but at the same time, to alleviate your PMS symptoms, it is recommended that you still do some form of training, albeit potentially at a lighter load, and just going in to get the bare minimum done and get out, so that you don't feel crap at yourself because you haven't done anything at all. So still the minimum effective dose within the gym or even up in your steps is recommended during this period. Again, typically I allow my clients to have more carbohydrates during this phase of their program to accommodate for their crazy blood sugar levels and increased cravings. Another thing that people typically can benefit from during this period is increase in magnesium supplementation. And this is because people typically crave things like chocolate during this period, and if you supplement with magnesium, this can help balance out everything that's going on within your body. And fish oils as well is also another really good one that will help you have more control over your menstrual cycle during this period of time. So just on a side note, if you have a heavy bleed every month, then this causes increased inflammation, increased stress, and they can be beneficial to supplement with an iron supplement during this phase so that you have increased energy and you are replacing what's lost within the blood to your body, so that you're bringing your body back into homeostasis or trying to balance things out a wee bit more. So just to round it all off, in week 1 and week 3 of your cycle, you're going to weigh the least, you're going to feel like you look best in your pictures, and your measurements are going to respond a wee bit more friendly as well during this period. So if you're tracking any progress, this is the best time to weigh yourself, take measurements and take pictures, which is week 1 and week 3. Your PBs can be expected within the gym in around week 2. Your PMS symptoms can be expected anywhere in around mid-luteal phase, i.e. the 7 days pre-period or week 4 of your period. Now, typically with my clients, I get them to diet hard on week 1 and 2 of their menstrual cycle, and then week 3 and 4 we will ease off slightly and allow yourself to come up closer towards maintenance calories towards the end of your PMS week. And over the period of a month, this will allow you to feel like you've got more control, so it'll take away a lot of mental stress and worry that you're not progressing or you're not making results. And it'll also help you just relax and allow yourself a wee bit more carbohydrate, a wee bit more calories, so that you know that you're not actually feeling, you're just giving your body what it needs. Again, I heavily suggest that you track and journal your menstrual cycle. Either do this in your diary, do it on any of the apps, i.e. Flow, which is a really nice app that does everything for you and allows you to understand what's going on a week-to-week level, and know that you don't need to compare week 1 to week 2. You compare it on a month-to-month basis, and this is where the success lies. Hopefully this helps.